You gotta pick up this book, okay? Stop what you're doing right now and go get this. We are finna review this book. I am about to give you the tea on We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. This girl right here dropped so many gems in this book. I've been giving this to my clients. This is gonna be a birthday gift, Christmas gift for any type of friend that's in business or thinking about being in business or anything. This is about to be my gift for them. I love this book. And so before I get into the rant and the raving, let me go ahead and let me just get into it, okay? My name is Lashawnda Smith and I am a content creator and business coach, and I had to review this book on my YouTube channel because, for one, I have already been plugging this book on my Facebook page, for one. And this is one of those books where when you pick it up, you cannot stop reading it. This is a book that I plan on reading at least every year. This is a book that you want to keep on your bookshelf. This is not a book that you want to keep only on digital. This is one that you want to get the physical copy of to keep, okay? That's one of those. So it's called We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. And I'm gonna be honest, I had not heard of Rachel Rodgers until I purchased this book. I had a friend girl I was on the phone with, and she was in the process of reading this book, and she brought up a part that was in the book that she was on, and I was like, girl, I gotta pick up a copy because this sounds like something that's gonna get me together. So let's get into the book. What is the book about? We Should All Be Millionaires is basically, in my summary, a book to help women step out of their comfort zone, step out of thinking small, and start positioning themselves to believe and strive to make $1 million in their business. Because when you make more money, you can impact more people. You have more power. And so this is essentially a book about teaching you how to get your power as an entrepreneur, as a woman, how to call your own shots. And it's like so many things that I can put in here, but when I give my key takeaways, I'm gonna kind of go into more detail, but this is pretty much like a book for women. Anyone that feels like they have the lower end of the stick because they are a woman or a black woman or an ethnic woman, whatever. Okay, so here are my 5 key takeaways that I have gotten from this book. The very first key takeaway I got is that I myself need to stop thinking small. I didn't realize how small I was thinking until I started reading this book, and she started going into detail about why we are so hard on ourselves as women and why we feel that we as women cannot accomplish certain things, even though we don't even realize that we're putting that on ourselves. It's like a limited belief that we grow up having because of our upbringing or because of society, what they show us, the opportunities that are not available for us. And it allowed me to realize how small I was thinking. In my business, I have always had the goal of, I want to hit 6 figures. I want to be, I want to make $100,000 and and then I think I'm winning once I do that. And I never really considered what would it look like and what would it take for me to hit $1 million. That was like something that, if I do that, that would be great, but that's not the goal. And the question that she presents to you is, why not? Why is that not the goal? Because if you really go after the lifestyle that you deserve, it's going to require you to make $1 million. If you want to go after creating the impact that you really want to create, you're not really going to be able to create as big of an impact off of making $100,000 versus if you made $1 million. If you wanted to give back to charities or different foundations or create whatever it is that may not exist right now, how are you necessarily going to do that if you are not in a position of power? And when you become a millionaire, you put yourself in a position of power because money talks. You can't help anybody if you're broke. You can't help anybody but so much if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're barely, just able to pay your bills, or maybe you live comfortably, but you can't just birth this new foundation because birthing things require money. So I realized that I needed to stop thinking small, and I need to work within myself to allow me to understand that, Shonda, you are very capable of becoming a millionaire, and you need to plan accordingly, right? So I'll go into a little bit more of that later on in this video, but that was the first key takeaway. The second key takeaway that I got was, I need to stop making broke ass decisions. Okay, she came for me in that section when she started talking about making broke ass decisions versus making $1 million decisions. This is all about being mindful of how you spend your time, where you spend your money, what moves you make. Are you making short-term moves that is going to hinder you hitting your $1 million, like all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna actually go to a part in the book that I want to read you that kind of gives you a good idea of what broke ass decisions are. Now, I'm not going to read a lot from the book, but I feel like this part is really important. Okay, so a part in here, and I'm going to kind of summarize this based on what I'm reading. A broke ass decision steals your time and energy, depletes your mental space, increases pity shit and prioritizes it above your greatest desires, makes you feel weak, insecure, and trapped, and eliminates options rather than creating them. Now, $1 million decision is one that creates time and energy, frees up mental space, reduces pity shit, and creates space for the stuff that matters to you, allows you to feel strong, secure, and free, and creates options instead of eliminating options. So that's pretty much what the difference is. And I'm going to give you examples of how I realized I was making broke decisions in my life. What? So when I'm making a broke decision, a perfect example is stretching myself too thin as a mom, putting too much on my plate that I realistically cannot handle on my own, when I can be either having people in the household to help me, or hiring someone to help me, or doing whatever is required for me to free up my time. Because when you are working towards creating $1 million brand, time is money. Time is money. So if you're going, a perfect example like what she used in the book is, you don't got to go to every practice that little Timmy has, okay? Like, I know you want to be mom of the year, but you need to really think about, okay, do I really need to be at every practice that my kids are having? If you have more than one kid, that's a lot of time that you're putting on yourself, and we as mothers feel obligated to do these type of things because that's what you're supposed to do. Now, I'm not saying don't go to any of little Timmy's games, but sometimes little Timmy just gonna have to practice while you out doing your own thing, and you're gonna come pick him up at 7, and so she talks about that. Also, another great example that she gave is like, if you keep taking your car, and my car is like out of commission right now. So when she was talking about this, I was like, okay, you have to come for the throat. But she did, okay? She was like, you keep taking your car to get it fixed because it keeps breaking down, it's not cranking, or it's not doing whatever it's supposed to do. And you're spending all this time at the mechanic, putting all this money into getting your car fixed, and it's been broke more than 3 different times this year, versus just going to get another car that's functional, that will get you from A to B, so you don't have to sit there and be constantly at the mechanic trying to figure out what's wrong and just throwing all his money at getting it fixed. That, to me, caused me to have to reevaluate what I do in my life and making the decision on, is this worth my time, or is this a time suck? Is this something that I want to entertain? And just really creating that balance. That was a really, really good one. Another one, when it comes to making broke ass decisions, that she talks about is not sticking to your boundaries. So I think all women struggle with this. Struggling with either saying no, struggling with keep putting your foot down when you need to put your foot down, tending to let certain people run over you, whether it's your boss, co-worker, spouse, kids, whoever. We tend to not be solid on our boundaries. And that's a broke ass decision. Because when you are allowing other people to stretch you thin because you don't know how to say no, then you're going to be putting more on your plate that is unnecessary, when sometimes you just got to put your foot down. And also saying no to certain events or certain activities that people invite you to. I know, like, for me, I'll feel bad, like, if somebody invites me to something, it's like, I want to go, but I really don't need to go because I have other things that I need to do. And so you feel obligated that you have to go. Sometimes you're just going to have to say, no, not at this time. Like, I'm not going to be able to come, so that's a boundary. Or, someone in your household, maybe whether it's your spouse, your kids, your baby daddy, whoever, your co-worker, they are stretching the limits with you. And you know what the limits are, but they're stretching the limits with you, and you're just kind of holding your tongue and just kind of letting them do because you're trying to keep the peace. You're going to have to keep the peace by holding your boundary and saying, no, this is not how this is going to work. This is what I need from you, or this is how this has to go, or it's not going to go at all. And then leave the ball in their court. You're either going to be okay with it or you're not, period. So she goes in a lot more detail in reference to that with the broke ass decisions. The next key takeaway that I got from this book is that I need to start outsourcing. I need to stop trying to do it all myself. And this kind of goes along with the broke decisions. I have to start outsourcing. Ever since I've been a business owner, I have always tried to do everything myself. I have barely hired anyone to do anything because I would rather spend the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears trying to figure it out on my own. And I have learned at the other end of it that not only was it ineffective, now, yeah, I have all this knowledge of things or how to do this or how to do that, but now I'm realizing how valuable my time is. And sometimes I'm just gonna have to get someone else to do it. Like they be saying right now, get somebody else to do it. I don't want to do that. So for me, I'm learning, and that's actually my word of the year. If you've seen my previous video, my word of this year is to outsource and expand. Because when you start hiring people to take those tasks off of your plate, that's a time suck, and you start utilizing that time to hone in on your area of expertise, your zone of genius, or making money, focusing on making money and doing the things that's going to make you money, then that's when you can start scaling. But if you're spending hours doing laundry, for example, or detailing the house, like you're wasting your valuable time, because the hours that it took for you to do that, you could have spent hours creating content or going to an event to get prospects or whatever, anything that's going to bring in more revenue for your business. So for me, I have been learning now to start outsourcing different things, whether that be things around the house, whether that be in my business, or whatever it's going to be. The fourth key takeaway that I got from this book is that I need to double my rates. And I had already kind of gotten into the mindset of doubling my rates, but after reading this book, it really just confirmed to me and reconfirmed to me that you need to charge the price. Okay, the price is the price. And it don't matter what other people are charging either, because we like to compare in our industry like, oh, well, this person is only charging this. But based on what you're trying to do is going to determine what your price point needs to be. And a lot of the times as women, we undercharge. She talks about how in like corporate America, how women are some of the lowest paid people because they're scared to ask for promotions, or they're scared to ask for the salary that they really want. And men will go in there with no problem and demand the price. Like, look, this is the price to hire me. Like, this is what I want for my salary. And women, we struggle with doing that because we're people pleasers. We want to nurture. We want to people please. We want everybody to like us. And you can think that you don't want everybody to like you, but I guarantee you, as women, we do move with secretly wanting to make a good impression and not wanting to be a hindrance to anybody. And so we tend to lowball ourselves versus demanding the price. So what she recommends that you do is just whatever price you currently are charging, double it. Because 9 times out of 10, you're probably lowballing yourself, and you can double your price, and the people that's supposed to pay, they gonna pay. And all this work that you're putting into your business, now you're profiting because you're charging the price that it should have been in the first place. And then the fifth key takeaway that I got from this book is earning more allows you the opportunity to create a bigger impact. So I kind of mentioned this earlier in this video. When you make $1 million, you can do a lot more with how you want to create an impact versus if you were only making enough to sustain you and your family. So if you wanted to create a foundation or organization to like help the homeless or help single women, like that's one of the things that I want to do. I really have a vision of helping single mothers because I was a single mother. I also have a really soft spot for low paying workers, like servers or waitresses, people that are working in like fast food and, you know, these retail stores and like things like that. I have a really soft heart for them because I've been in the industry and I know the struggle behind working in those type of industries. But I need to be able to make a certain amount of money where I can really create the impact that I want to create in those industries, because it requires money for the things that I want to do. If you wanted to create shelter for homeless people, you need to have seed money for stuff like that. So she really goes in on how, as women, we have a bigger mission behind why we start businesses, why we start different things. And we can really execute and bring that vision to life if we had the power behind making it happen. And so that's why she believes everyone should be millionaires. I now believe that we should all be millionaires, okay? Because women creates a lot of impact in all different types of communities. And I feel that if we come together and get the tools that we need, get the resources that we need to get our mind right, because you can't become a millionaire if this is all in shambles and you have all these limited beliefs and all these other things. So get the book. I would strongly recommend you get this book. Like I said, I'm going to have the link in the description below. I also have her YouTube channel somewhere linked in this video. But get this book, guys. This is a book that I recommend all women entrepreneurs to get. And when you get this book and you start reading it, come back to this video and let me know what your thoughts were when it comes to reading this book, because this book gonna get you together. Okay, so that's all I have for you. I hope this video was helpful. Rachel Rodgers, if you end up seeing this video, hey girl, hey, I really appreciate you. But until next time, I'll see you in a future video. Bye.